Hi there, everybody. So nice to share with you today. Natanya Ruth coming at you. And today I'm answering your questions. Awesome Q&A. So if you're inspired to ask me questions during this live, please feel free to say what's up in the chat box. And before we start, I just wanted to, as always, to start with a little bit of breathing and stillness. So find a nice long spine, maybe standing, maybe sitting. Let your hands rest on your legs, palm up, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let your belly, your ribs, your back expand with breath. And let it go out the mouth. Awesome. One more breath in. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Everything expands with oxygen. And exhale out the mouth. Maybe let out a sigh. Awesome. And I invite you to just shake out your body, releasing any tension in your system. Awesome, awesome. So here to answer some questions. Question number one is, why meditate? And not only why meditate, but what's the best way to meditate? So meditation is this invitation for yourself to come into stillness, right? And we meditate because we're giving our brain the opportunity to rest in a conscious space, right? It's a little different than when we sleep and we just unplug. But when you're in meditation, you're in stillness and you're giving your brain this opportunity to refresh. And in fact, there have been studies done that through meditation, you're keeping your brain fresh and focused. People who are 50 years old and have a consistent meditation practice have the mind of a 25-year-old. So the more often you give yourself these opportunities to release into stillness, into conscious stillness, the more fresh your brain is. So much of yogic practices, and that's what meditation is. It's this practice of connecting you yogically or in union with your divinity, is about mental mastery, right? So much of what we're learning in yoga practice, meditation, breathing, movement is about connecting with our divinity, connecting and aligning with our higher knowing. And the best way to do that is to find stillness in your day and consciously rest there. It's not about not thinking, and it's not about judging yourself for thinking, which can definitely happen, especially when you're starting to meditate. It's just about being still and closing your eyes, or maybe even just having a soft gaze with the eyes slightly open, and watching your thoughts come and go without judgment, just noticing and releasing. And over time, you'll get to a space where your thoughts are coming less and less, and your reactivity around your thoughts is releasing. So you're really training yourself to be in a space of non-reactivity and to freshen your mind. So a couple of really important tips for meditating is how you breathe. And when we sit to meditate, you breathe in and out of your nose. Nasal breathing is actually more soothing for your nervous system than mouth breathing. So as we know, when we're stressed, we usually let out a sigh, right? Like, right, I've had enough. With yoga, we learn that breathing in and out of our nose is actually allowing our body to relax even more. And it's giving ourselves a deeper level of permission to release tension. So let's just practice this for a moment. With your mouth closed, inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the nose, and let that exhale be as long as you possibly can. Beautiful. Let's try that again. Inhale through your nose and exhale out your nose. Nice. So the more you're in this practice of breathing nasally, the more relaxed and soothed your nervous system is, and the more you can find relief in stressful situations, right? So meditation, you're practicing non-reactivity, you're practicing soothing your nervous system, and you're really bringing your brain into this moment of rest and refreshment. And that is so critical. So really, that's the beginning stages of meditating, is just sitting in stillness and breathing. And maybe just focusing on the tip of your nose as you breathe. And that's it, just giving your brain this chance to take a break and refresh. In my own training in India, the most important thing aside from the breathing was being still, right? How long can I surrender in stillness and not be reactive? And the more I had this practice, the less reactivity I had in my life. So my wish for you in sharing a bit about meditation is that you give yourself the gift of stillness and nasal breathing to soothe your nervous system. Yeah, and that's kind of the best thing you can hope for to start with, even just 5 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out thing. And you can actually give yourself a walking meditation if you want. You can walk and breathe in and out of your nose, just consciously walking and bringing your awareness to your feet. And that's it. You're meditating. You're mindful. You're breathing through your nose. You're focused. Awesome. So question number 2, and I'm happy to answer more about meditation if you're curious. Question number 2 is around what is breath work and why are you so down with it right now? So much of my life has been around what our bodies are capable of in terms of how we can somatically change our mindset, how we can somatically change our bodies just through our own inner technology, not by taking pills or going to a therapist, but actually using our body as an experimentation ground for growth and transformation. And breath work, which is different than the yoga breath work we were just talking about, where you're soothing your nervous system. Breath work with deep, open-mouthed breaths, and we'll practice together right now. Yeah, as we allow ourselves to breathe deeply in and out of our mouth without any pause between the inhale and the exhale, we're actually moving energy through what is called the Sushumna channel. So anyone who's studied yoga with me knows that the Sushumna channel is a nadi, or an energetic tube that goes straight through the body. And when we practice yoga, we're warming up that Sushumna channel. It's giving our spine flexibility. And what's layered on top of this Sushumna channel, right? Like the Sushumna channel is this spoke, and then around it are the chakra wheels. Okay, so all the chakras are stacked over the Sushumna channel. So when we're doing deep connected breath work, we're moving prana and energy through the Sushumna channel, opening the chakras and releasing it out the mouth. And we're creating this circuit of energy as we're doing these deep connected continuous breaths. And what's happening is we're creating more openness in that Sushumna channel. We're unlocking any locks that are in our energy centers, our chakras, and we're releasing anything that we've been holding on to, consciously or subconsciously, as we're moving that prana, that energy. And that's inviting in awareness. That's inviting in connection in the third eye to our divinity. So when we practice deep connected breathing with breath work, we're actually opening ourselves up to receiving visions, to tuning into our divinity, to releasing trauma that we may be aware of or we may have in our subconscious, and aligning with who we are now in this present moment. I have really found nothing better than breath work as a way to move through the trappings of the subconscious mind and step into alignment with what wants to happen now. In my own experience, the first time I did breath work, I received a vision from my matrilineal line, my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, all with the same message of speaking my truth, no longer suppressing what my truth was, right? So showing up as myself. And when I received that message from unlocking the chakras, from unlocking that energy that had been like suppressed and sleeping within me for decades, it was clear to me that I had to rise up to a new level of being. And that is why I'm so obsessed with this breathwork modality. And yoga, asana, kundalini yoga, they all offer the same kind of practice of moving the Sushumna channel, opening up the energy centers. But breathwork is a supercharged way to do it. It is a through line. There's nothing like it. And what can happen when you're breathing in that way over time is that your body starts to feel like, what the heck's going on? I'm so uncomfortable with this. But continuing to trust the process and breathing through it, the most incredible revelations, the most incredible sense of peace. You're expanding your body's capacity to breathe. And whether or not you know it, most of us are breathing shallowly, like we're breathing up here in our chest. And when we shallow breathe, we're actually limiting our capacity to be present, to be focused, to be without stress. So when we're practicing deep, connected, open mouth breath, we are exponentially building our capacity to be present, peaceful human beings. And I want more of us, right, on planet Earth, present, focused, at ease, lighting ourselves up, lighting up others with that open, fluid state of consciousness. So that is why breath work. And I really hope that you are inspired to join me the next time I offer a breathwork ceremony so you can experience for yourself the kind of openness, the kind of revelations, the kind of fluidity that's available to you just with the apparatus of your beautiful body to breathe. Amazing, amazing. Love it. And the final question I wanted to answer today is why I decided to go from being a classroom teacher to opening a yoga studio and opening a wellness center and offering and showing up as a soulpreneur. And we kind of touched on it a little bit with meditation and breathwork because these are like my passions, the passions of these transformational somatic exercises that we have within us to unlock and awake. So for 15 years, I was a classroom teacher, as I've shared before, and it didn't resonate in the deepest level of my being. I knew that I was made for more. I was raised by a grandmother who taught me yoga from when I was a little girl, and I always saw her as someone who walked with peace and in her truth. And as I grew up, I realized that was more and more the kind of person I wanted to show up and be. And when I was teaching in the classroom, it was all about following the rules of the curriculum that were put upon me, making sure that the kids were passing all their tests and that they knew how to write their essays to go to college. But I realized that in the traditional classroom, we were really missing this emotional intelligence, right? An academy of how do we tune into our emotions? How do we communicate them? Like, I really felt that this was such a key component to being a human being, more than knowing how to pass the test, more than knowing how to be a productive member of society, right? And those were the rules that I had followed growing up. I had put my head down and done the work and passed and went to school, but like, I was never really attached to those dreams. I just knew that that was what I had to do, right? Check, check, check. So I started to get more and more curious about how I could show up for my students and inspire them to communicate from their heart. My experience in theater really helped me with that. I would often incorporate improvisation games and movement into my teaching. And for a time, I was a school play director as well. I really wanted to like inspire in my students this like, what can I generate on my own? How can I think outside the box? How can I open myself up to my creativity? And then I started incorporating yoga and mindfulness into my teaching. But I did receive some pushback in the traditional classroom forum for offering my true passions. And there was just a point where I was like, enough is enough. You know, the real learning that I feel I'm called to offer is around accessing creativity. It's around accessing emotional intelligence. And I just couldn't deny it anymore. And honestly, yoga, meditation, breathwork, continuing my own practice as a theater creator, these were all the things that were just like, oh yeah, this is what you have to synthesize and then offer the world. So here I am now, 5 years after leaving my classroom teaching career, and I'm still an educator, but it's all around movement and awakening through your body and speaking your truth. And this is the true curriculum that I feel all humans can benefit from, and I'm so honored to continue to share it as best I can from the most authentic and vulnerable space that I can, right? It's like, how can I show up more? How can I show up more? This is a big inquiry for me on the regular, right? And I'm going to put that question to you. How can I show up more? So if you have any questions or wonderings, if there's any service or offering that you're looking for, please let me know what I can support you with and what topics are close and dear to your heart that I can share in. And I invite you to tune into this inquiry for yourself, right? How can I show up more? What wants to arise through me that I can then transmit into the world? What is my unique medicine? And these are questions of inquiry to hopefully inspire you to start contemplating the unique medicine that you have to offer. And once you have that sense of who am I and what do I have to offer, the steps start to appear. So just giving yourself that time to tune in, the breath, the movement, the self-inquiry, all of the revelations that you need will arise in the perfect time. And I'm here holding your hand to support you as you ascend. So I'm sending you so much love today, as always, and looking forward to receiving more questions, more comments from you, and stay tuned tomorrow for more. Sending you so much love. See you soon.